completed the process of detoxing yourself from information and external output, reconnecting to your body, regulating your nervous system, expanding your capacity, turning your triggers into power, and starting your rise to becoming the wealthy, impactful, wildly abundant, multiple six-figure CEO who is on a path to change the whole damn world with her medicine. Now it's time to put this all together, everything you've learned here, and design your Regulate to Rise daily rituals. So you're going to take all of the tools you've learned from the vagus nerve activations, the tools inside of the nervous system clinic, the somatic hygiene, the trigger regulation, everything. And you are going to design your unique daily ritual to regulate your nervous system, okay? Now, there are a few things I definitely want you to keep, and we're going to go over it in just a few minutes. But you get to take everything that we're learning here, all of the tools, all of the resources, and design your daily ritual. Now, you're going to use these rituals every day for the next 6 months together, starting after you complete your outline today and your plan today. Now, I want to remind you, you're building new habits. You're embodying a new way of being. You're healing years of functioning in certain patterns and programs. So be gentle with yourself. You're going to design the ritual. You're going to start using it today. There are going to be days that you miss it. There's going to be days that you fall short. There's going to be days you forget to do it. But you are not going to be someone who says, oh, fuck it, I didn't do it yesterday. I failed. I should just give up. I'm not going to do it. It's not working, blah, blah, blah. This takes time. Hence why I am asking you commit to doing it every single day and doing it multiple times a day. Because if you are truly committed to the process of evolution as a woman, as a CEO, as a coach, as a leader, then this is absolutely necessary, an integral part of becoming that version of yourself. Becoming your highest functioning, highest level of consciousness, most peaceful, most fulfilled, most regulated human. All right? So let's look at how you are going to design your rituals. First of all, you have your workbook. So your workbook is going to be where you write all of this down. This training is to describe to you what it is, how to do it, what's inside, and examples of how to answer these questions and what you need to be thinking about when you're responding to these questions and when you're designing your daily rituals. So the first thing we're going to look at is setting boundaries around your work. When do you want to start and when do you want to finish? This is very, very important because if you are someone who is an overworker, an overfunctioner, or fight or flight, then you're going to hustle, you're going to work too many hours, you're going to burn out. If you are somebody who's in hypoarousal, you might be very avoidant of the work. You might be trying to push it away. It might be hard to move into action. So it is good to create the structured environment to have in your life where you know this is the times I am going to work. If you are someone who is resistant to structure, I highly recommend that you explore why you are so resistant to structure and test out what it's like to know I work from 8 to 12 every day. You do not have to block out 8 hours of a workday. 4 to 6 hours of work, 3 to 5 hours of work is more than enough to get everything done in your business that you need to get done on a behind the scenes. Now, how many client calls you adjust for every day, that's completely up to you because your client calls are going to be about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what you allot for in your one-to-one coaching or how many group programs you have. So it's very important to think about, okay, I have client hours and I have CEO hours. I have coach hours and I have CEO hours. How many coach hours do I want to work a day? How many CEO hours do I want to work a day? Now, when you think about that, the next question that you're going to ask is, okay, how do I separate these two and how do I create more space for having a day for content creation, having a day for my CEO, which means thinking about like money, behind the scenes tasks, future planning, launching in the future, all of the things that are coming up, the entrepreneurial mindset who is constantly looking forward into the vision, right? Those days might need to be separate from your client calls. So for example, my calendar is set up where I take calls Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I only take calls from 11 to 3. Meaning I have space on my calendar for, depending on my one-to-one clients are 60 minutes I have lower ticket one-to-one options where people can get 30 minutes. I know I'm going to be in Voxer for about 3 hours a day, catching up with all my groups and all my one-to-ones. And I check in there about 2 to 3 times a day. So I know then that's the 3-hour allotment that I have. It's about an hour every time. So I know on my calendar, I check in at 9, 1, and 4 because I'm out of there by 5. So I check in at 9, 1, and 4 in Voxer. Okay, so that's going to take about maybe an hour to 45 minutes of my time there. Then I know I have client calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 to 3 or 11 to 2 on Wednesday because my child gets out of school on 2 on Wednesday. So I have those all blocked out in my calendar. Now I also have time blocked out in my calendar from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. that says CEO and self-love hours. So those are the times where I'm pouring into my nervous system, I'm practicing my daily rituals, and then I am doing like content creation or any behind the scenes projects I need to get done, sending out emails, catching up with payments, fixing things behind the scenes, connecting with my team, whatever, right? So these are the different allotments that I have. And then I have Monday and Friday where I don't take any client calls. I have my group, I do group calls on Monday. And then on Friday, I have absolutely nothing. So Friday is my CEO day. This is the day where like I do whatever the fuck I want, or I'll catch up on things. I'll look at future planning. I'll really sit and look at like, where is my business heading? Where am I taking it to? Am I on track? Depending on what I need that day. Sometimes I just go get a massage and do absolutely nothing. And then I do not work on the weekends. So I need you to decide right now, what are the boundaries you're going to have around your work? Next, committing to rise. What are non-negotiables you are committed to completing every single day to grow your business? This, a great way to be dysregulated is to put off all the things that you know you should be doing. A great way to create anxiety is to tell yourself that you want to be doing something and have a list of all the things you need to do and then not fucking do them. Now, we understand the protection patterns that are playing into you not doing them because you may be in a hypoarousal state, but you have the tools now to move through that. So there is no reason that you can't do the work that's here and start to move out of that pattern. Now, is it going to stop the first time you do it? Maybe not. But you are going to make these commitments to non-negotiables you are committed to completing every day. And you're going to remind yourself you're doing this because you want to. There's nobody making you do this. There's nobody forcing a hammer down on you saying you have to do these things. There's no toxic boss in your world saying you have to do these things or else you suck and you fail and you're going to get fired. You're committing to these non-negotiables because you truly desire what? What do you desire for your business? And I know that all of you are here because you desire to grow a business that is making multiple 6 figures, that is making an impact in this world, that has consistent cash flow, and that you feel safe as fuck in. So what are the non-negotiables that need to be completed every day to make sure that you grow and get to the place where you want to be, which is the vision for your business, right? So some of those things are going to be selling, creating content, connecting with your clients, connecting with new potential clients, growing your audience. It's not hard. So we have the social media success checklist will be introduced in the next in the business module and the second modules. So you can check that out and you can get it now. But for right now, most of you know exactly what you should be doing. No one who is in this container is brand new. And anybody who does enter this container that is brand new to building a business, then you're going to want to go get that social media success checklist now and make that your non-negotiables. Okay. All right, let's talk about who are you being outside of your business. This is very important to understand because who you are as a coach and CEO is part of your identity. There is also this other part of you that needs to be poured into, and that is the human, the things that you enjoy, the freedom that you love to have, the pleasure that you desire for your life. It can't be all business all the time. Yes, we should have a healthy obsession with our business, and I say that from a very like kind of polarizing perspective, but you should be absolutely dedicated and devoted to growing this business. It's everything. Like you decided to do this. This isn't an accident. This inspiration isn't an accident. It's meant for you. You're meant to bring your medicine to the world. That's why you're investing in programs like this. So don't sell yourself short by being like telling yourself that it's bad to be obsessed with your business. You should absolutely be obsessed with this. This is your life's work. This is your purpose. but there's also a human behind this business, and she needs attention. She needs love. She needs to be poured into. You deserve to experience joy, pleasure, and freedom outside of your business. And that's probably why you want the money and all of the things. You want the clients for the impact and the service work that it creates, but you want the money so that you can have the life outside of the business. So what are 2 to 3 things that you will do every week to bring you joy, pleasure, connection, freedom? Make you feel connected to the highest version of your life. Like, what is the highest version of your life? And how can you create that now? How can you be there now? So maybe it's by having days where you do absolutely nothing and lay by the pool and just enjoy the luxury of being quote unquote lazy and resting and enjoying that. Maybe it's traveling. Maybe it's taking spontaneous day trips on a Wednesday morning to the downtown area and having coffee at a cafe. Maybe it's going and riding horses on the weekend. Maybe it's going to the beach on a Monday morning. Whatever it is, design that now. Commit to doing that for yourself now. Create the space and time in your schedule to do those things now. Block it out in your calendar to say, Wednesday mornings are for pure pleasure. Then what does that look like for you? We don't do calls on Wednesday morning. I don't check in with Voxer on Wednesday morning because this is the way I pour into myself in the highest version of me, right? And so then when you know that, you're like, okay, so then I need to let my clients know this when they sign up, but also like, I know I have something to look forward in the middle of the week. Like, that's exciting. So think about that. Next, co-regulation. Who are 2 loving, trusting, and safe people you will connect with during the week? Who are your people? How will you commit to staying connected to them? Maybe you need to set off reminders in your phone to call that person or send them the text message. Maybe you just need to send a loving text message to your best friend right fucking now and tell her how grateful you are for her. Create those connective experiences with loving and trusting people in your life. I can tell you from experience, it's really easy to get lost in the weeds of growing your business and disconnect from the people that you love and disconnect from your support group because you're so fucking in it. Now, I said 2 loving and trusting people because the reality is that as a CEO and entrepreneur, you might fall away from some of the people that you used to want to be around. You might also need to set boundaries around people who aren't healthy for you. And that's okay. That's part of the evolution. But there are 2 loving, trusting, and safe people in your life that you can connect with. And if there aren't 2, and if there aren't any, then find them. Use the women in this group. And that's the next question. How often will you check in with your sisters in the Facebook group? I want you to commit to 1 to 2 days where you check in with the group and just let them know what's going on with you, and you connect with other people in that group, because that group is where you're going to practice your co-regulation. That group is where you're going to find connection. That group is where you're going to find community and support. It's not there for fluff. It's there for you. It's there for you and your sisters to connect and have beautiful relationships built. I have so many people from past programs where they are still connected. They have built sisterhoods. They are supportive women, like-minded women who understand the journey of entrepreneurship, who are in it with them, who understand the importance of regulating your nervous system, who want to hear about your wins, who want to hear about your struggles and your setbacks, who want to know how you were dysregulated today and get it, who want to hear about how a client did this and it fucking like threw you off kilter, or how social media is fucking stressing you out today. Like, people who get it. People who get it. So loving and trusting safe people you connect with during the week. Those people don't have to be other entrepreneurs who get it, but inside the group, I want you to find connection with the other entrepreneurs because they get your specific experience as an entrepreneur, and that is going to help you so much with your co-regulation and feeling safe and secure and building and developing a relationship that's going to help you rise to levels that you never even thought possible in your business. So these are the questions we need to answer first. Next, we're going to design your Regulate to Rise daily ritual. So you're going to use the workbook to create your rituals, but this is what you're going to see when you go in there to design this. You're going to have a morning routine, a midday reset, and a nightly routine. So the morning routine is going to include a vagus nerve activation, so like a vagal toning, expanding your capacity, regulating your self-activity. Then your somatic hygiene practice, you can pick from any on the list, a gratitude practice, and then your future vision connection or a meditation to connect with your future vision, like visualizing it or something like that. Your future vision connection is like, where do you want to be 1 year from now? Focus on 1 year from now. We have the Rise and Vibe journal, which is something that I highly recommend you grab off of Amazon, because this is something that you can use where you're going to script out your future vision every single day, where you can literally write it out. You can also voice memo yourself it, or you can meditate on it. So figure out, where do you want to be from 1 year from now? Who are you? How are you showing up? How do you feel? What's in your life? Who's around you? What is your business doing? How much money are you making? What clients are you working with? All of the things. Connect to that every single morning, along with these other practices. So create your ritual following those specific things. Now, what activation you use, what somatic hygiene practice you use, what gratitude practice you use, that's completely up to you. But I want you to follow this specific flow of your route, or you don't have to go in order, but I want you to do these 4 things every single morning. Midday reset. This is where you take a break from your work in the middle of the day for 45 minutes to an hour and you ground yourself. So I like to do habit stacking with things. So I did my midday reset when I eat lunch. I've been doing this since the beginning. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And I remember I used to want this so bad when I was a therapist. Like, we couldn't take lunch breaks. Like, we could, but it was really hard to take a lunch break. Maybe you've been in that type of culture before in a workplace. It was like, even peeing was like a challenge. So now I knew when I started my business that having this time in the middle of the day to just be, enjoy my lunch, ground, enjoy, practice presence and pleasure of just like being. And for me, that looks like eating my lunch outside in that chair I was talking about before that anchors me. I eat my lunch outside if weather permits. I go put my feet in the grass, I anchor, and depending on what's going on with me, I might uprate or down regulate. For example, yesterday I was having a really low day. I was very much in hypoarousal. It was more of a rest and digest. I wasn't in a freeze response. My body was just tired. I've been traveling, I've been doing all the things, I've been launching, creating this program, all of it. So I had to just take a break and be. And so I actually attempted to upregulate halfway through the day because I was like, I really want to get these things done. And I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, and it was making me feel like I was moving into a freeze response. And I was like, okay, let me try to upregulate and see if this is a nervous system thing or I really just need to rest. And so I did some breath work to upregulate. I even went and did my somatic hygiene practice. I cycled for 45 minutes. But I came back to it and I was just like, okay, this is just a rest and digest situation, right? And so I tried to upregulate, it didn't work. So I just took the rest of the day and did fucking nothing. And that was perfect. And then I got 10 hours of sleep, and here I am today, brand new woman, right? Totally regulated, brand new, connected, creative, productive, all of the things. So in the middle of the day, we can attune to this and depend on what we need. So if you're feeling a little bit low, maybe it's time to upregulate, get those remainder of things done, finish those client calls for the day, and then cut off by whatever your cutoff time is. For me, it's 4 o'clock. I'm done by 4. 4 o'clock, I'm done. I really start working with clients and showing up at 11. And then I'm done by 4. So you get to have your own hours. That's what works for me. That's what makes me feel fulfilled. I'm also a generator, so I love work. I have unlimited energy. Be self-aware, understand. We're going to have the HD expert coming in and speaking to you all about how to use your human design in your business. So that will help a bit too. But just think about what you need and then practice the tools. And also during this time, practice a lot of just like presence and pleasure. So for me, when I'm sitting outside and I'm taking this midday reset, like literally just walking through the grass and looking at the lake behind my house and just like being and experience the pleasure of the sun on my skin and my delicious lunch and like my life. It's great. It's a great way to reset your day. Then go on, complete your day, do whatever it is you need to do. Even if you're not working, highly recommend to do this. It could even be called a midday connect instead of a midday reset on those days, but we're not going to go and change everything now. Nightly routine. Shut off screens 1 hour before bed. This took me a while to implement. Still sometimes fall out of it. I'll be like, oh, I'll get stuck on a social media scroll, or I'll be watching a show and binging on Netflix or something. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to bed at 9:30. So like, it's time to get off the screen. This helps so much with nervous system regulation and falling asleep and getting real REM sleep at night so that you can be nourished. Another thing that I want you to do before bed is a vagus nerve activation. So it could be as simple as a cranial massage. It could be some breath work. It could be just like self-touch, self-soothing, maybe a hug with some positive affirmations, self-love affirmations, whatever. Go in the nervous system clinic to check out what the vagus nerve activations are. Another thing that you can do if you're finding yourself really overwhelmed before bed with like maybe all the things you have to do the next day or things that happened that day, or maybe you had a trigger that day and it's still ruminating a bit in your mind, brain dump. Just journal and brain dump. Journal and brain dump. I also journal in my morning routine. It's not for everyone, so that's why I put a gratitude practice, but gratitude is part of my journaling practice. And I also journal before bed. So if you're a journaler, use journaling as a tool there. If not, if you're somebody who doesn't like journaling, just brain dump. Just brain dump everything that you're thinking about, everything you have to get done tomorrow. Maybe you find that you want to organize it so you know what's coming the next day. A lot of people, if you have anxiety, knowing what's coming up, having that structure is really good for you. So maybe you want to make a list of things you need to do the next day, whatever. Some of us get really triggered by lists. So don't make the list, just brain dump and get it all out of your head. I like to use the analogy of like, or a metaphor of you having a marble in a dish. And it's like that marble's going around the dish. That's your thoughts inside of your brain. And when we brain dump, it's taking the marble out of the dish so it can be quiet and slow down. Can be present and you can be. The other thing I want you to really focus on during our 6 months together is getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep. 6 to 8 hours of sleep, absolutely necessary. Obviously, it's a majority, not an always situation. Sometimes you're not going to sleep great. Sometimes you're going to have shit going on. Sometimes you're going to have kids that wake up in the middle of the night. I want you to strive to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night. If you can get 8 and be drinking water and taking care of yourself with all of these tools and the somatic hygiene practices, you're going to notice a significant improvement in your mindset and your creativity and the way that you market and the way that you sell and the way that you coach over the next 3 weeks. Like intense transformation. So this is the way that you are going to set up your Regulate to Rise daily rituals. Use your workbook to create the rituals. And then I'm going to ask you to share them in the Facebook group so I can see what you are doing and hold you accountable. All right. I cannot wait to see your daily rituals, and I will see you in the next training.